everyone and welcome back to another video. So the book that I am reviewing for you today is The 5 Love Languages, How to Express Heartfelt Commitment to Your Mate by Gary Chapman. Now, I first read this book not fully understanding what it was about, I'll be honest. I thought that it was a lot more witchcraft based than psychology based because it was somebody in the pagan community that had recommended it as a witchcraft book, and I can understand why that you would recommend it as a witchcraft book. I myself would say it's a spiritual book from a psychological standpoint, but you could certainly include this into your craft and into your magic. So this book basically just talks about the 5. I'm not going to say that there are only 5. I had never thought about this concept before I read this book, but I don't like to limit things. But this book concentrates on the 5 love languages. Basically, it explains to us, and this is something actually that I have to say, when I read this book I was like, that makes so much sense, and it changed how I read tarot afterwards, because I feel like a lot of the time when I was doing love readings for people, this was kind of a message that was coming through that I wasn't able to translate properly until I'd read this book, and then it suddenly made sense. So it talks about how different people feel love differently when it's coming in, and how different people express love differently based on who they are, how they've been raised, their childhood, you know, their own personal experiences, etc. And I just think that's common sense, but something that we don't think about. A lot of people, for example, like to receive gifts, and so when they want to show somebody that they love them, they'll buy them something fantastic, and that's lovely, isn't it? But that's not always received with, oh my gosh, this person loves me so much. Sometimes it's received with, this person's trying to buy me or buy my affection. I'm somebody that, don't get me wrong, if somebody gets me a gift, that's lovely, but I certainly don't feel love based on gifts. For me, it's quality time and touch. Hang on, right, okay, let me just say. So in this book, I have heard them called different things. In this book, the 5 love languages are called quality time, words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. So quality time is when somebody actually spends time with you. They put their phone down, they are dedicated to you time. Okay, so kind of like when you go and see a counsellor or something, that person is 100% dedicated to you in that quality time together. And that is sometimes a way that people feel and express love. That is a way that I feel love. When somebody gives me quality time, that means a lot to me. That means a lot more to me than a present. Whereas I know that I have friends who freaking love getting gifts, and that makes them feel loved. And if I was like, I haven't got you a present for your birthday, but I've got some quality time, they'd feel robbed. I'd quite like it, you know. Words of affirmation are compliments and nice things that you can say to people that make them feel good about myself, but not good about themselves, but not just utter crap, not just like, oh, you look great, blah blah blah, you know, like things that you've actually considered and that you're expressing to them, things that they can actually identify with. I find that one really nice, but for me personally, I don't consider it to be one of my main love languages. The next one is gifts. We've talked about that. Gifts can come from a place of, say, when you're a child and you draw a picture for your mum or your dad or both, and you go and you give it to them and they go, oh, that's amazing, I'm going to put that on the fridge and everybody's going to see it when they walk in. For a child, that is amazing, that's love. And so as you get older, there's a chance that you're going to express love the same way that you did when you were a child, which is with gifts. And these gifts may have been, as a child, you picking a wild flower for mum, you know, or you picking a weed for mum, or you doing things like that. But as you get older, that could be the difference between a guy who buys his wife diamonds or a woman who makes a fuss of her man and the ones who don't. Where are we? Acts of service. So acts of service is things like, well, quite simply, it's doing something for somebody else. When my partner, when Alexi takes out the rubbish so that I don't have to, that is an act of service. He's doing something that he knows will make my life easier, that he knows will make me happy. So he's doing an act of service. When he does the washing up for me, he's doing an act of service. When I do the laundry, I'm doing him an act of service because I know he really doesn't enjoy doing that. I'm not over the moon about doing it either, you know, just like he doesn't love doing the washing up, but we do it for each other. Those are acts of service. And physical touch, which can be anything from, because even though we're talking, sorry, I have to straighten out my legs. Even though we're talking about love languages, we're not always talking about romantic love. So physical touch can be anything from sex to a parent holding their child, you know, anything like that. So I would highly recommend this book. I don't want to go into too much detail because I'll basically tell you what the book is and then you don't need to buy it. Again, I got it secondhand. Get all my books secondhand because I'm cheap. I always get them on eBay, but apparently Amazon is much better for books. I don't know if that goes for secondhand books. I actually don't really use Amazon. I always use eBay. I'm old school. But yeah, I always get them secondhand. You can get a lot of bargains. So have a look around and see what you can get. But I do recommend this, and I do recommend this not just in a witchy way, for anyone who is in a relationship, for anyone who has been in a crappy relationship where they couldn't work out what was going wrong, for anyone who is doing any form of counselling, anyone who is interested in psychology, anyone who is interested in spirituality, and anyone who is interested in witchcraft, and probably a ton of other people that I can't think of off the top of my head. So I hope that you enjoyed my little review. I would give this book a 7 out of 10. I think this was really, really nice. The only thing really that kind of held me back with this book is what I said right at the beginning. It's called The 5 Love Languages, and I just feel like, okay, I don't mind it being called The 5 Love Languages, but the author doesn't say, or at least I don't think he does. If he does and I'm wrong, please correct me and I'll eat, I was going to say eat my hat, I'm not wearing a hat, I'll bite my finger, I don't know, I'm sorry. But I don't believe that the author says there is a possibility that there are more and he is just concentrating on these 5. Could be wrong. I don't remember that, but I think for me it would have been nice, call it The 5 Love Languages, but emphasize on the point that there could be many, many more that are undiscovered, but these are just the 5 that concentrating on in this book. But like I said, if I'm wrong, sorry. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the review and I will see you guys in a video soon. Don't forget to subscribe if you want the notifications so that you know when we've posted new videos. Then you have to click the little bell because really the subscribe button is pointless and nobody wants to admit it anymore. So I will see you guys in a video soon. Blessed be. Bye!